I don't think we need to be setting all our goals in January. It's too much, it is too overwhelming. If you're doing something that works, you don't necessarily have to change it. I am training for the marathon this year, so that is a big fitness goal for me. I was vegan for a long time, 5 years, 6 years. I'm slowly incorporating more animal products back into my diet. Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. This week we have a solo episode about 2025 health and wellness goals. Now, this episode is coming out in February and you might be thinking, why? And that is because I don't think we need to be setting all our goals in January. It's too much, it is too overwhelming. When someone says to me, what is your goal? Honestly, that is the most overwhelming question for me. And I set goals a lot and I know what my goal is, but sometimes it is a lot of pressure to ask someone what their goal is. And January can be a lot of noise, a lot of goals to be set. And I don't think they all have to be set in January. So it is now February and it's not too late to set some health and wellness goals. So I thought I would share with you mine. Before I do, we have the quick fire round and I changed this up quite a lot. So I thought I would answer the current season's quick fire. So my current favourite restaurant in London is probably Oma in Borough. I went there recently or actually the end of last year, and honestly, it is fantastic. Highly recommend. My go-to Deliveroo, I don't really get Deliveroo. I prefer cooking at home. If I had to get Deliveroo because of some reason, it would be Attis or a salad project, salad bowl type thing. For me, that is my absolute favourite. What is your hangover meal? For me, it's actually pesto pasta, but full of lots of veggies. I have spinach in there, peppers, peas, edamame beans, like roasted broccoli, loads of veggies, pesto pasta. I always like to do my pasta 50-50. So like 50% pasta, 50% veg, and pesto and cheese. That is my hangover meal. Favorite coffee shop? I'd have to say Hagen, or I also love Money's in Putney, a real niche one, but I love the coffee there. What food for you is a no-no? Meat. Don't eat it, especially bacon and sausages. I will not be eating that ever. I doubt I'll ever eat meat if I'm honest, but yeah, that for me is a complete no-no. And my favorite dish to cook at home, I absolutely love cooking at home, but at the moment I really enjoy making like an aubergine parmigiana with like a side salad, like a rocket side salad. I love that. Quite a nice winter dish, quite comforting, but also you can make it quite elevated. Right, let's get into it. Let's get into goals. The first thing I want to say is that don't fix something that's not broken. I think I'm always there to strive to be that much better. I want to be that 1% better every single day. And I'm always incorporating new things, which I'll go into. But if you're doing something that works, you don't necessarily have to change it. And I think that's really, really important to note because we are often told what to eat, what to do. And sometimes I think it's important just to check in and be like, am I okay? Yeah. Am I doing enough? Yeah. Could I do more? Yes. Let's do a little bit more in some things, but let's not completely reinvent the wheel because often we are doing great. So that's the first thing I want to say. So with all the wellness and health goals I'm about to mention, do not change something that's not broken. If you're feeling great, that is the main thing. So I'm going to start with fitness goals. I don't really speak a lot about fitness on the podcast. It's mostly kind of health and wellness. But I am training for the marathon this year. So that is a big fitness goal for me. This is my second attempt. The first time I got really badly injured and had to pull out. So I then did the half marathon last year and then doing the full marathon this year. Probably better to start with the half, to be honest, in hindsight. So really, really looking forward to it. And the training so far has been good. But I wanted to share what I had changed in case anyone else is running the marathon or training for the marathon and this could help anyone. So when I started training the first time I was doing it, I was running 4 times a week. That's a lot of running. And my body could not handle it. I mean, running is amazing for us and I love running. But sometimes it's not great for our joints, our bones. It can be hard on our body. So running 4 times a week is a lot. So I have now stripped it back completely. And my kind of training program is 2-2-2. So I do 2 strength, 2 Pilates and 2 runs. And I was speaking to someone and they were like, that is not enough running. Yes, it is. For me, it is. I'm using Runner. I've put in that I only want to run twice a week, and they have kind of done the plan for me according to that, and it's working. I'm doing one long run and one kind of tempo run and sprints, and so far so good. So that is kind of my fitness goal. I want to kind of do the run in a pretty good time, but just enjoy it. I think the marathon is a marathon for a reason. It's going to be tough. It takes up a lot of time, all this training as well. So just trying to enjoy the training program, enjoy the run itself. But I am loving the 2-2-2 system, 2 strength, heavyweight, kind of heavyweight. I'm not a heavyweight lifter. I, weight lifting to an extent, 2 Pilates, which I love. One of those is probably reformer class, one of those mat Pilates, and then 2 runs. So I am really, really enjoying that. Okay, another thing when it comes to fitness is I have gymmed pretty much 6 times a week for as long as I can remember. I've always been a massive gym person. For me, it clears my head. It sets me up for the day. I guess it's an addiction. I probably am quite addicted to it. But anyway, I've trained 6 times a week for a long time. And I think sometimes we can all do all this training, but you want to see the results. So I'm looking at kind of doing tweaks and really kind of monitoring my progress. So I'm using InBody to kind of track how I'm doing, kind of giving me a bit of a InBody examination, I guess, and seeing how I'm progressing. So that's been really helpful. Never done that before. Did one last year and I'm going to continue to do it this year. It's one of my goals. And the other one is EMS training. So I did that again in January. Really loved it. It's more of an intense session. Kind of works on like vibrating and shaking up the muscles. And again, it's kind of just slightly elevating it, because I do think, as I have, gymmed 6 times a week for as long as I can remember, sometimes it's good to kind of take it up to the next level, elevate it, and try and kind of see more definition, more results. So those are kind of my fitness goals. But I think tracking it for me is good. And having an accountability partner to do that with, or someone, just to keep reminding you, keep on track of things, because if we're doing all this work, we do want to be seeing results. Health goals. So in terms of health, I've documented this quite a lot. I was vegan for a long time, 5 years, 6 years, probably 5 years. And I'm slowly incorporating more animal products back into my diet. And I'm not going to be incorporating any other, actually, maybe there's one thing, but I'm kind of going to be continuing to focus on this. And I'm going to explain kind of what I'm introducing and why. So for me, my why is to be the healthiest version of myself. And I say that a lot. Now, with a lot of plant-based products, they do contain ingredients that aren't necessarily natural. So I kind of went through a stage of being like, I want to eat healthily. And if I trust the source and the sustainability and the ethics of where I'm getting my produce from, then I have no problem eating it. So in terms of dairy, I have introduced Parmesan. I've introduced Greek yogurt, but organic proper Greek yogurt. Don't go for Greek style, because that's not necessarily Greek yogurt. And I kind of had cheddar now and again, depending on where it's from. Those are kind of the dairy products that I've introduced. In terms of the kind of oils and fats, I've introduced cooking with ghee. That's also quite a low lactose product. Again, I am lactose intolerant, so I am picking things that are low in lactose. Greek yogurt is low in lactose, so is Parmesan. And again, kefir, it's fermented. So again, getting a really good high quality kefir is fantastic for you. And the fermentation to make kefir also breaks down the lactose. So if you are lactose intolerant, you can still have that. So I've really loved introducing those. I'm feeling great. My energy levels are great. I've not seen any difference in terms of my skin. So that's been really good. And I'm going to continue to do that. The next thing is bone broth. Now, I think there's a lot of benefits to bone broth. I think it's packed full of nutrients. And I was like, I want to kind of get on this. I'm loving the whole nutrient-packed thing, especially in the winter. It's so lovely and comforting. I don't have it with the meat bits. I can't do that. I don't want that. I just want the chicken bone broth. Or I've had the beef bone broth once, but for me, having been not a red meat eater for a very long time, I do find that a bit much. So at the moment, I'm kind of sticking on chicken bone broth, no bits. Dalesford do an amazing organic one. I make sure it's always organic. And I know that sounds expensive and a privilege, but I like to invest in my health. So for me, it's important to make sure it's organic. And that does mean it's more expensive, but I'm not having loads of it. I probably have a cup of bone broth once or twice a week, which some people might say is not enough. But for me, like reintroducing it, that's been great. So bone broth, I am really, really enjoying. The chicken one, also I do believe it's quite high in collagen. Now, someone can, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but there are lots of health benefits. It is packed full of nutrients. I do see the benefits in it. So I'm really, really enjoying having that. And then fish. So fish for me is an interesting one. I always loved fish and really did miss it when I cut it out. But for me, it's just the sustainability, it's the ethics, it's the farming. I just know. And also, I don't believe in getting fish from afar when you're in the UK in winter. Like, I'm not going to be eating fish right now. Like, I'm not eating salmon. No way. Like, where's that coming from? So I'm just very on it with the source. Where is it from? Is it from British waters? And our sponsor, Wild, is my go-to for this. This episode is brought to you by Wild Market, the online farmers market where farmers, fishermen, growers, pickers all come together to share the products and produce that they have grown and made. It really is the magic of a farmer's market from the comfort of your home wherever you are in the country. If you want to know more about Wild and their journey, Ella, the co-founder, came on Catch Ups in My Kitchen in episode 116. So check that out to hear more. As you guys know, I have been reintroducing a few animal products into my diet after being plant-based for about 6 years. But what's really important to me on my journey is where I get my animal products from. And Wild has been a huge part of that journey for me. For example, I can get fish from Cornwall 2 days after it has been caught, and it really does not get much fresher than that. Wild Market opens on a Friday and closes on a Wednesday, and then it's all delivered to your door in one convenient box on a Friday. So whether you are looking for dairy, meat, fish, pasta, Wild Market has you covered. Go to www.wild.market/mykitchen for £15 off your order. That is Wild spelt WYLDE. Then it is .market/mykitchen. I'll add all the details in the show notes. Thank you so much, Wild, for providing a service I'm absolutely obsessed with. Guys, if there's one thing you do this year, you've really got to place an order with Wild. Now let's get back to the episode. I have used Wild for a long time and I was like, please sponsor the podcast. I am obsessed. I had Ella on the podcast. We spoke about her journey, why she started Wild. Honestly, it's amazing. I can get fish from Cornwall and that is what I'm talking about. That's the kind of fish I want to be eating. And again, it sounds so fussy, but I guess because I am in this industry and this is what I do, I can maybe take the time to do this. But you know, when we were back in the day, our grandparents were eating things that were local because that's all they could get. Now we're in this crazy world where you can be getting, I don't know, salmon from Japan. It's like, whoa, why are we eating Japanese salmon in December or whatever? You know, it can be just crazy. So I really, really try and focus on getting fish locally. And again, when I'm on holiday or somewhere abroad, I really, really try. Like if I'm in the mountains, if I'm skiing, I am not eating fish. Sorry, where's the sea? I can't see it. So yeah, no fish for me. So I really am on it with that. But again, fish is great for omegas, and I am introducing a really high quality fish oil. I will actually share the link in the show notes to my Health store. Health is a great brand, and I have put all my supplements that I take in that. Again, don't just take them because someone recommends them, but it's a good indication of like what I would consider a good quality fish oil from what I've been told. Again, I'm not an expert in that field, but I've done a lot of research into like good quality fish oils because I wanted to get the omegas in my diet. And the other thing is raw honey or honey in general. I was never that strict on honey when I was vegan, but I, again, was just careful where I got it from. It's actually crazy when you see these like massive pots of like Rouse squeezy honey in a plastic bottle. That makes me so upset. Like, honestly, a bee produces about the size of your little fingernail amount of honey in their lifetime. That is a tiny amount. How many bees create these massive pots of honey? I don't even know. So I like to get kind of like smaller maybe more expensive but smaller pots, but the quality of that honey is so strong that you actually only need a small amount. But yeah, I still eat honey, and that's back into my diet. Again, never really cut it out, but I was just a bit more particular on where I was getting it from. So in terms of health goals, just kind of eating as clean as I can. I love going out for dinner. I love having a drink. I love having a good time. But when I'm home and cooking for myself, I want to be as clean as possible. And again, that's kind of down to olive oils and oils I cook with. I kind of bang on about this quite a lot on socials, but we don't know what oils restaurants use. So when you're at home, just be extra wary. Like, I want to make sure I'm buying good quality, single origin olive oil in a dark bottle, in a glass bottle. Avocado oil, coconut oils, ghee, like all of this is amazing. Just try not use anything in plastic, clear bottles. It's just try and focus on your oils when you're cooking at home. It's a really, really, really easy swap. So, wellness. So, wellness trends, again, very overwhelming. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing a lot of these like morning shed videos online where people are like taking off the mouth tape, taking out the heatless curlers, castor oil patches, you name it, face tape. Honestly, I'm kind of here for it. Like, these girls are looking great, but it's a lot. And like, I'm currently single right now and I'm not waking up next to someone, but do I want to wake up next to someone dressed with like all of this on? Don't know. But I am experimenting with a few of these trends and I'm quite intrigued. I'm kind of documenting the process on TikTok. So if you want to check that out, please be my guest. But I am enjoying trying. The first one I've been trying is mouth tape. Oh my God, I'm noticing such a difference. Honestly, I was really skeptical and I was like, what's this actually going to do? I'm not a snorer. I'm not someone who struggles with that. So I didn't need it for that purpose. But I was really intrigued in the jawline shape. So, and if it has an effect on that, maybe I'm going crazy and maybe I'm trying to see something, but I am noticing a difference in my jawline. More kind of, I'm pointing to the camera, but more kind of towards my chin. I'm noticing a lot more definition. And also, I wore it last night and it actually came off because I had loads of facial oil on my face. And I woke up and I felt puffier and groggier than the night before when it didn't come off. I honestly am loving it. I found a really great one. Again, I'll tag it. But the material's kind of breathable, which is quite nice. You don't feel like you're suffocating. It's honestly great. I am obsessed with it. So trying that out. The castor oil patch, I haven't tried it. I haven't ever used castor oil, but I'm going to try it. I've heard about it. I've heard it kind of helps with bloating, water retention, lymphatic drainage, all of that kind of stuff. Don't know enough. Don't quote me on any of that. I'm going to do some more research, but I'm going to give it a go. Again, with all these things, I think you can try it. If it doesn't work for you, just ditch it. I'm not going to be making my life hard work with all these new trends. I'm just not. But I wanted to kind of pick out some of them and talk about if I'm using them, if I'm not. But one of my goals this year is to kind of, again, elevate my wellness a bit more and try some of these things. And mouth taping, already I'm noticing a difference, so that is good. Castor oil, watch this space, let's see. Oil pulling, I did that a lot last year. Love it, absolutely love it. I do it once a week. Again, we don't have to be doing everything every single day. This is a big one for me. I'm like, our days don't have to be the perfect days, but let's try and aim for a really good week. So I just oil pull once a week. I can't do any more than that. But I do notice a difference in terms of oral care, oral hygiene. I'm not promoting drinking when I say this, but if you've been out before and when you wake up and you might have a bit of a funny taste in your mouth and you might not be feeling the freshest, oil pull. Honestly, you feel great. And then I follow that by tongue scraping. Again, I only tongue scrape once a week. I do it after oil pulling, and for me, it's great. I love both of those things. There's so many benefits to it. I'm here for it. It works. But again, don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do it every day because it's not sustainable. And with all these things, healthy habits, building these healthy habits is got to be sustainable. Another one is dry brushing, for example. I dry brush most mornings. I am not doing it for longer than 5 minutes, maybe if that. I'm doing up my arms, I'm doing up my legs, and I'm literally, whilst my shower's warming up, I'm just rubbing the brush up. And I just think if you do it, 3 minutes every single morning, it's fine. It doesn't take that much time. Habit stack it with, waiting for the shower to warm up or whatever it is you're doing. So these are a few wellness trends that I do and love. What else do I love? Okay, sauna. This is something that I was trying out end of last year and I loved it. So I am now saunaing 3 times a week in the morning. Oh my God, I just feel so much better for it. And again, I worked up to it. I was just doing it once a week and now I'm doing it 3 times a week in the morning. And again, I'm in there for 15 minutes max. I'm not in there for a long time. You have some people and they go in, and then they go out and shower and they go back in again. Okay, cool. Like that could be your style. I haven't got time for that. I am not in and out. I am just going to be in there for 15 minutes, sweat, shower, and I'm out. I'm done. But I do notice a big difference. I am really, really loving that. Again, another thing I like is red light therapy on my face. Red light mask, if you're thinking about investing in one, do. However, I do have to say, you have to do it quite consistently in order to notice a difference. So I think if you go to kind of like a facialist or a clinic, the red light that they will use there will be a lot better and stronger than one you'll have at home. But I am loving the red light. I think it's great for your skin. I notice the difference. And it works for me. This sounds like a lot, but all these things are quite small. So I have my red light mask on and I'm like on my phone or reading my book or, doing something like that. It doesn't have to be, again, it's 10 minutes. All these things, habit stack, they don't have to be that long. They're just a few small little things that I'm adding in. So as I mentioned, these might not be, this is not a big overriding goal because again, I am pretty healthy. I focus on this all the time, but I always want to be that 1% better. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just trying out a few things that I'm seeing in order to see if they actually make a big difference. But I was listening to a panel yesterday and they were saying go back to basics. If the basics aren't there, then don't start adding in anything else. Hydration, make sure you're drinking really great water, nutrition, sleep, all these things. So yeah, in terms of wellness goals, for me, it's just trying out a few of these new things and seeing if they make a difference. I do have something coming out this year. Again, I'm not going to say any more, but it could be linked to some of these things, which I'm really, really excited about. But just watch this space on that one. And I did ask you guys if you had any kind of questions or health and wellness questions for me. You gave me a few. One of them is what wellness trends are you not on board with? And I wouldn't say I'm not on board on any of them, but one thing that I don't do and probably won't ever do is apple cider vinegar shotting. No, that's not for me. I'm quite a big one on acid and acidity, especially for teeth. So I'm not going to be shotting any vinegar anytime soon. That is a no. Another thing that's never worked for me is taking supplemented prebiotics and probiotics. They really don't work for me. Don't know why. So I sometimes opt for kind of natural probiotic foods. So I think again, kefir, the fermented foods are great for that. Probiotics really, really don't work for me. And another one someone asked me is, am I doing dry Jan? No, definitely not doing dry Jan. And I think dry Jan's great for some people, but for me, I've never been a fan of it. For me, I don't like forbidding something. I think let's just aim for moderate. Let's just go moderate all the time. I just feel if you're banning alcohol in 1 month, you'll then kind of I can now drink more in February because I did so well in January. You kind of reward yourself. And also, I don't know if you guys have watched the Blue Zone documentary on Netflix, but a glass of wine isn't bad for you. It helps you relax, and actually stress is the biggest killer. So if you want to go out and have a glass of wine with your friends or a few spicy margaritas, do it, because I definitely do. And it helps me chill. It makes me have a good time. And for me, that's way more important than a month off of alcohol. So yeah, balance is definitely key. So this is my little quick 20-minute health and wellness catch up, goals for 2025. So my big goals, I don't think I have any big goals. It's just, being that 1% better, trying a few new health and wellness trends. If they don't work, move on. But there's always room for tweaks and improvements. But again, don't fix something that isn't broken. Guys, as always, thank you so much for supporting the podcast. We have a lot of exciting things this year, more in-person events, some fantastic guests, a little bit of a rebrand coming at some point, always keeping it fresh, always keeping it new and exciting. If you could give us that follow button, subscribe, like, share an episode with some of your friends, keep kind of promoting us. Honestly, that means the world to me. There are so many podcasts out there, but we have now been going for 3 years. Can you believe it? Just little old me in my kitchen banging on about health and wellness for 3 years. But it's not stopping anytime soon. So all the support is always really welcome. So thank you so much and see you again next week.